What's up, everybody? NHL free agency madness is upon us. This is Catfish on Ice, episode 137, with your hosts, Chad Minton, Rich Howe, and Kyle Perkins. I am sitting in an undisclosed location somewhere in Georgia, near the Florida line, guys. I don't know. Georgia-Florida line, Florida-Georgia line. Wasn't that a country music band?
Oh, don't even say it.
Florida-Georgia line. Is that what they're called?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. So I got to tell you something. So Chad's at a hotel. Chad's at a hotel, and when I first entered the stream before we started going live, all I saw was like an empty hotel room, and I was like, am I watching like some kind of snuff film or something? I don't know what's happening right now. It looked really weird and sketchy. But I was glad to see you finally pop onto the screen because I was getting a little nervous.
I'm here.
It's all good.
I'm alive. I'm very alive and well.
What's in the box vibes?
Yes, very much so. What's in the box? Hey, Mike Twitter's in here, boys. He says, yo. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike? All right, guys. So I am actually in a town. I'm in a town called Valdosta, Georgia. I know nothing about it. If you're from there and you're listening right now, no ill will towards Valdosta, Georgia. I'm right off the interstate, but that's where I'm at right now. On my way to Tampa, Florida tomorrow. So my new home.
Tampa.
I'm hoping that a certain Andre Palat may no longer be playing for Tampa by tomorrow. We kind of know that's going to happen, but where does he end up? He's still on the market as we speak right now, guys. How is that possible? I didn't see that coming.
You two could like cross each other on the interstate tomorrow morning on his way to Nashville, right?
Nah. Probably not.
Probably not.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. We're happy to have you. NHL free agency madness is what we're calling this episode 137. It's been a crazy day. It hasn't disappointed on the NHL scale. There's been plenty of really great moves across the league, impactful moves that are going to really shape next season. There are some teams who made some power moves today. So we're going to focus on that. But as it comes to – we're going to touch on those moves. But as it pertains to the Nashville Predators, they kind of sat on the sidelines today, guys. I don't know what you think about it, but they didn't really participate like we thought they were going to, which is okay. That's fine. They didn't have to necessarily, but I don't know. Let's go to Rich first, then Rich will send it to Kyle. Your overall thoughts on what the Preds did or didn't do today at day one.
Well, I think people have the goodwill that David Poile built up by getting McDonough and then signing Forsberg. I think that's gone. The ill will has returned for David Poile for not doing anything today. Those two moves make them better. Are they ready to compete for the Stanley Cup? Probably not. There was a couple of guys I would have loved to have seen them try to get. We don't know. They could have been trying to get him, and the guys just said no. It's up to, it's totally up to them. So we don't know what happened behind closed doors. But,
yep.
I mean, I didn't expect them to do too much. I think they said that there's going to, the flat cap are only going up $1 million next year. They need to save some money to sign some guys next year too, or whatever. But I would like to see them go for a couple of guys that went today. Would have been nice to see. But other than that, not too bad.
I think sometimes the biggest thing you can do is to not do anything. And I think Poole probably could have forced a signing through just to sign somebody. But other than maybe two of the guys that came off today, I don't think the rest of them are really fits for what Nashville was needing. There was centers. Like I vocally said I love Andrew Kopp. I really, really like him as a player. But he is primarily a center. He plays wing some, but he's primarily a center. Nashville doesn't need centers. They need wings. They need a scoring winger. So as much as I wanted Cop because I like how he plays. I like his doggedness. They didn't force going after a player and overpay for a player that they didn't technically have to have. There's still good players out there to be had. It's going to be a little more interesting as it goes, and I'm firmly on the train. I don't think we're signing a free agent.
No,
yeah,
at all.
It kind of feels too late at this point in the game.
I don't think there's anybody out there at this point that checks the boxes of what Nashville needs as a free agent. I really don't think there was anybody that hit those boxes within our budget to begin with. So it's going to be interesting to see what gets done.
Well, you bring up the whole center thing real quick, Kyle, and that's kind of how I was about it too. Like there were some good centers out there, and it's hard to turn down a really good center, even if you don't need one, because centers are so hard to find, and really good centers have always eluded this franchise. They've always been snake bitten when it comes to finding those centers. But I'm with you, Kyle. It didn't really make sense. I really liked Vincent Trocheck as a player. That's who I was at first. At first, I was beating the drum, and then I stood back a little bit and I thought about it, and I'm like, he doesn't really fit this team because you've got Mikael Granlund and Ryan Johansson also as your top 6 centers. So where the hell are you going to put another big free agent center on this team? You going to move Ryan Johansson to the bottom 6? No, you're not going to do that. No. So it just didn't fit. But I did think they were going to go out and get themselves a winger. I know people weren't sold on this guy. There's 2 guys that people weren't sold on, but I kind of wanted to see him try to get possibly. The first one was Max Domi. You could have gotten him for cheap. You could have gotten him for a relatively very modest deal and taken a swing at him. And it's already been proven that's what happened. Max Domi goes to Chicago 1 year for $3 million. I would have taken a flyer on that kind of deal if he ends up at the Predators. Now, I don't know what happened behind closed doors. So I don't know if he even wanted to come here possibly. But my point is, hypothetically speaking, I would have been happy with him, take a flyer on him. And then Dominic Kubalik from the Chicago Blackhawks, who scored 30 goals as a rookie, and then his production dipped really bad on a really terrible Blackhawks team. I think he's got a high ceiling and a high potential to return to being a really good goal scorer. He could have been also obtained for very cheap. Those were the 2 that I was looking at early in the day that I was hoping for that just didn't work out. But now we're looking at the trade market, right? That's where we're at with it now. So Patrick Laine has emerged, guys.
That's the new person that everybody's talking about right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. I mean,
all right. I've said multiple times that I would not trade Eeli Tolvanen for anybody or anything. I would trade Eeli Tolvanen, Dante Fabro, and multiple picks to get Patrick Laine.
Oh,
yeah. Because Patrick Laine already is everything that Eeli Tolvanen could be. I mean,
that's a trade package right there, guys. Kyle Perkins just put it on the table for everybody. That is a trade package.
If you're gonna go for it, go for it. In the words of Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation, never half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. I would go all in on getting a guy that you set him up with a good centerman, he's getting 40. It's just a foregone conclusion. He's getting 40, if not 50. Dude is just elite level shot. If you want to go for it, go for it.
Well, I'm just kind of to speak to that, and then we'll go to Rich. I'm just really tired of David Poile straddling the fence on what he wants to do. Like 1 second he wants to go all in on being this young team that rebuilds. Then the next second, no, you know what? I want to go out and sign Ryan McDonough, who I know I like the move. I've already said I do, but he's an aging defenseman.
Yep.
So
but
it's like, what do you want to do right now?
Yeah, I think he just kind of rolls with the punches and takes what comes his way, because I think that's actually a good move on his part to get him. And then obviously the Forsberg thing or whatever, but some of these guys, they might have swung for him and they just didn't want to come here. I mean, that's a possibility as well. Like,
that's very much a possibility.
I was looking at as much. I can't even believe I'm going to say this right now, but David Perron, I think he would fit in well in Nashville. The style of play, the game he plays. Write it down, because you're not going to hear me say anything like that ever again, probably. But he went to Detroit. I think he would have fit in pretty good. There's some other guys around, but now, like you said, Patrick Laine is the player du jour. So.
And you also still have Phil Kessel hanging around out there. I mean, on Sunday's 32 Thoughts podcast with Elliot Friedman, I was listening to it on my road trip today. First of all, let me say this. So I was totally in the dark when free agency opened up today. I didn't know what was going on. I am all about hands-free. I was not. They already say texting and driving is very unsafe. Well, I definitely wasn't going to tweet and drive, because that's also not very safe. So no tweeting and driving for me today. I was totally focused on the road driving. But the whole time when free agency opens up, I'm thinking the Preds probably just signed a huge, big-time player right now, and I'm one of the only people that doesn't know about it right now. So I get to one of my first rest stops. I've got my dog in the passenger seat. He's never gone on a long road trip before, so he's like totally confused. We get out into the rest area. I'm walking him, and I pull out my phone. I'm like, all right, a couple hours into free agency, I'm sure something big has happened by now. I pull up my phone. No disrespect to Devin Cooley and Jimmy Huntington, but that's the first thing that pops up in my timeline, and I see nothing else. So a little underwhelmed when I first checked my phone and thought I had missed something.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, there wasn't much going on, that's for sure. Lots of other big moves and announcements, but nothing for Nashville, that's for sure. So
today was like a whole lot of watching all these other teams being a segment on Jerry Springer and just sitting back and hoping your team doesn't end up there next.
Yeah.
Because there was some head scratchers today, boys.
Yes, there were. You're right. Absolutely. Get caught up on some messages we have here from some folks. Max Greenberg, we were talking about Laine. He says, you'll never have to give up that much for Laine, but generally I don't disagree. Yeah, that'd be awesome to get him. Max also said, I agree, Perron's a great fit, but after his dirty play in the playoffs, no thanks. That's is true. But those guys have short memories, so they'd probably forgive that. So, and then here's the big one right here. Lindsay, poor Lindsay. Just want to say hello and let you know that I'm not okay. We feel so bad for Lindsay for
I feel bad for all Calgary Flames fans right now. They have had a rough go of it lately. I mean, you're talking about the Calgary Flames. You're talking about the Calgary Flames, a team that was a dark horse candidate to maybe win a Stanley Cup, to bring a Stanley Cup back to Canada. And now all of a sudden, I'm even seeing fears that they might have to rip it all down. Like, I don't know if it's that bad, but
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Johnny, Rich, I'm going to need you to hold your ears for a second. I really hope they trade us Chucky if we can't get Laine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I kid around about that, but I mean, he's obviously a talented player, and I'd eventually be all right with it, but for sure. But yeah,
we're gonna go rapid fire later in this episode about the biggest agency moves. Obviously, we're gonna start that off with Johnny Gaudreau and that just insanely wild story that's come out. I mean, I don't even know where to begin, honestly, on that. But we're going to hit rapid fire some of the biggest free agency moves. Also, didn't mention this at the beginning of the episode. We got a really fun topic to close out, like we always try to do on this podcast. Preds players as superheroes. And I know that plenty of comic book fans that listen to the podcast, plenty of superhero people. We did a brainstorm session to prepare for this segment. Kyle had a lot of really good choices that we're going to reveal to you later in this episode.
Yes, he did.
Preds players as superheroes. It's going to be good. You need to stay tuned for that. All right.
For sure.
We are presented by DraftKings, everybody. Promo code THPN. Of course, plenty of good deals. We'll tell you more about DraftKings later in this episode, so stay tuned for that as well. All right. We're going to go to Kyle first. Also, Kyle's smirking. I don't know why, so I want to know what.
Because I need to share my screen, my other screen, because House Cats just shared a photo of our future goaltender.
Oh, no. House Cats always puts out good stuff, so this has to be another good one.
You might have to bring it up.
Rich?
Yeah, I got
Bring it up.
Got you.
For the viewing audience.
Got you. There's there. Let's see if I can make it. No. There's our. Is it full screen? No, I won't do full screen, but
we can still see it.
You can see him.
This is at the Nashville SC game where all the prospects are.
He's got his shirt off, boys.
Nice.
That's awesome.
They're having a grand old time. I'm sorry, I got distracted.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I did see them at the Nashville SC game. All the prospects. That's really cool to see. What was it? Zachary LaRue was there. Right. I think I saw Zachary LaRue.
I think they were all there.
LaRue seems to be the prospect that has taken over the I'm going to talk at everything
good
guy. And I love it because he's always just out in front like, hey, well, this is what we're doing right now. Da, 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 and he's all bubbly and everything. And he's got the super mullet. Mm-hmm. But Luke Evangelista's got the flow going.
Oh, I saw him.
He's got like the lion's mane anime hair.
Yeah. I saw that the other day.
All right. Crazy. Guys, I got a really straightforward question for both of you guys. Kyle, you can answer it first. Okay. We're not just counting day one of free agency. We're counting everything that's happened since the sweep, all the moves that the Predators have made. And it's a very simple question. Have the Predators gotten better than what they were after they got swept by the Colorado Avalanche just a couple months ago? And when I mean better, I mean, do they have a better chance of actually winning for a change in the postseason where we sit right now based on where they were 2 months ago after all the moves they've made with Ryan McDonough, re-signing Filip Forsberg? You know, where are we at with it? Kyle? What do you think?
Yeah, just a wee bit. We never have to see Ben Harper again.
Did you not hear? They just announced that they signed him back for 4 years. So
stop. You stop.
I wanted to see Kyle's face. That is dirty.
You are a liar.
Do you really?
I am lying.
Do you really want Kyle to just sign off for the rest of the episode? Because he might have to if that actually happens.
Like, see ya. That's funny. Anyway.
Signing Ryan McDonough. McDonough is a leader. He's been a captain. He's won 2 cups in a row with Tampa. I mean, dude's pretty well versed. He's going to come in and be that. He's older, but he's going to be the elder statesman on the team, and he's still a dang good defenseman. If he can play offhand and play with Yossi, oh my God, what a top pair!
Yeah, I think he could. I think that's a possibility.
I don't think they would have.
I don't think they would have went out and gotten him if they didn't have confidence in being able to play on the other side. You know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, because Ekholm is the same handed as Yossi is. Now, the question we were talking about on Twitter earlier about the top 6. This goes into that. They've pretty much said that there's an individual on the team that deserves those minutes. He's young, real young. That's Philip Tomasino.
Mm-hmm.
I think you give him the chance and the minutes, that kid could do something big.
No, I totally agree. I've always wanted Tomasino to play with Johansson, but who is on the other wing then? Because
that's the
you've
problem.
Still that's the problem. Like you've got 5 of your top 6 forwards seemingly from what we see now. That was the whole conundrum with adding another player in free agency or maybe through a trade. But I mean, there are options possibly if you don't make another addition, and that's kind of what I was floating around. Do you give Tanner Jeannot a promotion? Do you move him up? Do you give Ellie Tolvanen another chance? Maybe I love Ellie Tolvanen, but I'm not totally confident in that.
If he comes in and has a monster camp, that's what it would take for me to give him that shot back.
Because you can't. I know we love the Herd line so much. You can't keep them together forever. You can't hold back a Tanner Jeannot if you think he is ready for a top 6 role. That's not fair to him. So, as much as we love the Herd line, you know, if they can't make another impactful move for a top 6 player, if that ends up happening, I'm kind of on board with giving Tanner Jeannot promotion and seeing how he does up there. That's where I'm at with it.
It's not going to hurt.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I mean, he played well.
That's only if they don't make another move, which I think they are. But I'm just throwing that out there. They still have in-house options as far as if for some reason they don't add somebody for the top 6, and then. Yeah. But then that still leaves you the problem of having to find someone else to move up into your bottom 6 because Matt Luff's gone. He was a rotational player. Nick Cousins was firmly in the bottom 6. He's gone. Nick Cousins goes to the Florida Panthers. Got a very cheap deal, but we knew he would land somewhere. Igor Afanasiev, if he has a strong camp. I thought about
I don't know. He could maybe slot into Tanner's spot to let him move up.
That's what I thought about, but he's got to have a really good camp.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the biggest deals about it. He needs to be able to hold his own. Another that would maybe be there would be Parsonen. He's a whole lot more of a long shot. I still think he needs AHL time.
Guys, I'm still kind of in the dark, and I'm still getting caught up literally on everything that happened. What's going on with Tommy Novak? Do you guys know? Because honestly, I haven't got caught up. Is he re-signed with the Predators? Is he totally coming back? I know he was an RFA. Okay. I don't remember seeing one way or the other, so I didn't want to speak on it unless I knew for sure. But, I mean, obviously, Tommy Novak is a top candidate to get back into the starting lineup if he's still around next year. I just don't remember seeing any news on it. Maybe one of our listeners can help us out too with that if we can't find it. I just don't remember seeing anything on it.
Max,
Tommy Novak got offered his
Max said put in McCarron until the young guys are ready.
Okay. I mean, I don't think he's being sarcastic there. I'm not against it. McCarron's a rotational guy. He's totally if you have to use Michael McCarron, I'm not totally against it.
Yep, for sure.
The only thing is, why do we need to have that big, heavy, slow line?
Yeah. I think he's more of a rotational guy.
Why do you need that 4th line to be some big, heavy, lumbering line? Our 3rd line can outcheck 90% of lines in the NHL right now. They will beat you up worse than most 4th lines in the NHL are capable of right now. Roll 4 lines. Give me just call, because it doesn't matter what you call a line. It's how you use them. If you roll 4 lines, make Cody Glass your 3rd line center and give him 2 decently fast wingers, why is this a problem? I don't see where this is a net negative. Because your fourth line with Sissons, Jano, and Trennan are excellent penalty killers. So I don't see what the large issue is there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. That's just the way I see it. Our third line is a better heavy line than most heavy lines, so I don't see the point in needing to have guys like McCarron and guys like that. Nothing against them. It's just I think they would be better served with a more skilled lineup.
I got you. I do want to kind of mention, I don't want to gloss over one move that kind of got overlooked a little bit, but the Preds did add themselves a defenseman who has bounced between the NHL, and he's got over 100 games of NHL experience, and that's what's his name here? I'm sorry, Kevin Grado. Anything about him up until today? But he comes out of the Calgary Flames system, over 100 games of NHL experience. Mm-hmm. He is a prototypical penalty killer. So maybe he fills in as a rotational defenseman when you need him.
He's scared he'd get off to a rocky start.
Oh, there it is.
I'll see myself.
I mean, I might be mispronouncing his name. Maybe it's Gravel. I don't know.
Oh, we're French all of a sudden.
I'll be honest.
He's
not French, I don't think.
No, Gravel. I know.
Hey, I'll be totally honest. We are notorious for botching names on this podcast. Amen. We're not going to even run from it. We called Luke Kunin Luke Kunin for like 2 months,
and then.
He's from the United States. He's from Michigan.
Yeah.
So
I don't. Hey, guys. By the way, I don't feel bad about calling Luke Kunin because if you play, I want to say it's NHL 2019 on Xbox. It's one of those recent years. The announcers on that video game call him Luke Kunin.
They do.
I don't feel that anymore.
Yeah. And we won't even talk about Igor Shesterkin.
That was a bad one for me. That was before he started taking the NHL by storm.
That's right.
Igor Shesterkin sauce.
Shesterkin.
I learned that guy's name very quick when I saw that he was quickly becoming one of the best goaltenders in the league. So
heck yeah.
Don't make me sound bad, Rich.
I'm not. I said I was the main person who kept saying Luke Kunin.
We had a swear jar.
It all the time. Yeah. The swear jar. We were even talking about that.
It was bad. We were both bad about it. It's all good, though.
We don't have to worry about that anymore.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh.
David Poyle, the man got a pick and a prospect back for Luke Kunin.
It was great. And it's a prospect that has some upside.
We should build a statue on that alone. I don't know how there was any return after the season he had last year. The fact that there was any return at all is just you fleeced San Jose so bad.
Yeah. Well,
one name I do know how to pronounce is the prospect we got in return, John Leonard. He's got some upside.
Mm-hmm.
He does. I'm not saying he's going to be a game changer for the Preds necessarily, but he's got some offensive skill set to him. He'll be good for Milwaukee on the onset, and we'll see what happens. Like Kyle said, we got something out of him, and that's great. And we just shaved off 99 penalty minutes off this team on a team that desperately needed to shave penalty minutes off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a difference between taking penalties when you have to take them because you play a certain way and you're beneficial to the team, but there were just too many instances where Luke Kunin just took really bad penalties at bad moments that it either screwed up the momentum of the game or maybe the Predators were hanging around in a game that maybe the score was tied or what have you. And then there you have Luke Kunin just for some reason he decides he's going to take a stupid penalty. So you've got that part off of the team. I wish all the best, Luke Kunin. I love his tenacity. I love his aggression. But he's got to figure out a way to channel that in his next NHL stop, which is San Jose. But yeah, I view that as a very positive offseason move for the Predators.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was a weird pickup to begin with when they got him, and it worked out for a little bit, but then just last season was just not a good year for him at all. So wish him well, but
all right,
don't have to go home.
We are about here. All right, we are continuing through our 2022 NHL free agency madness episode, Catfish on Ice, episode 137 with Chad Minton, Rich Howe, and Kyle Perkins, your host tonight, presented by DraftKings. The action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, especially this summer. Even though it's the end of the NHL season, there are other sports right now that you can get in on. Baseball, MMA. You've got all these good sports, PGA golf. There's so many things you can be getting into. Nashville SC soccer. So many sports. It's all on DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Please see our show notes if you have a gambling problem and you're seeking help. You can throw down on all the major action from baseball, golf, and more. Plus, you've got same-game parlays, spreads, money lines, over-unders, and props. It's all at the DraftKings Sportsbook, and it's safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Promo code THPN, DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's do some winners and losers today of NHL free agency. I think we're all going to agree on one. I'm going to throw out a team right now at you, and we're going to talk about why we think this team's a winner. I'll be surprised if you guys disagree with me on this one. Let's go ahead and open it up right now with the Ottawa Senators. Kyle brought this team up earlier. The Ottawa Senators, they're starting to get on the other end of their rebuild, and they did that today they've already traded for Alex DeBrincat. And then they get Claude Giroux today.
Yeah, that they instantly became better, no doubt. Claude Giroux, as everybody knows, played for Florida. Was trying to win that cup, didn't pan out at all. Ran into the little problem getting past the first round. Or did they make it past the first round? They didn't, did they? Oh, they did.
Are we talking about Florida?
Yeah. Where'd they make it? Anyway,
Florida got swept. Florida got swept by Tampa.
That's right. I can't even remember. Yeah, but man, moving him up there and then getting Alex DeBrincat, that's huge. Huge gets for them for sure.
Didn't
so
they get
they're
somebody
winners
else too.
Ottawa?
Seems like they're
No, they did.
Like they got somebody else as well in a trade or something.
Yeah, there's been so many moves today. I know they got Alex DeBrincat and they got Claude Giroux. Those are their two biggest moves.
Those are the big ones.
I mean, they've got a really good team shaping up for next season. So they definitely are winners today. Kyle, do you have another winner for free agency today besides Ottawa?
The Detroit Red Wings.
Absolutely.
That was what I was gonna say. Good pick.
Detroit is cleaning up, really, when you look at it. They're throwing Steve
Yzerman, man.
Throwing it.
Steve Yzerman has been such a good GM for them, man. And he's he is the prodigal son of that franchise. I mean, and now he's working magic as the general manager. I mean, that team they showed some promise last season. They weren't a screw last season. They're making progress. And now they followed that up with a really good offseason in free agency. They got Dominique Kubalik, which was a player that I really wanted for the Preds.
David Perron, Andrew Kopp. I really love Andrew Kopp. Ben Sherratt, he's all right.
Yeah,
not great, but still.
They've had a really good free agency.
And Matt Luff, they signed Matt Luff.
Yep.
But
he'll fit into their depth. He'll get some fourth line minutes, I'm sure.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, they definitely got better as well.
I'm going to throw another team out there just because they answered really their biggest problem, and that is it's not because I like this team. Don't get me twisted. The Edmonton Oilers went out and got themselves a goaltender. Were we not already talking about that? Like,
boy, did
for
they.
the longest time, they went and got Jack Campbell.
They did. Apparently, Toronto didn't even showed no interest in wanting to keep him. So
Edmonton solved their biggest problem, and sometimes it's the hardest problem for teams to figure out, and that's getting a goaltender. I have one. It's an upgrade from what they had. So, I mean, you got to call them a winner. They're not as big of a winner as Ottawa maybe or Detroit, but they've definitely gotten better today.
Yep.
What's even funnier is Campbell and Mike Smith have the same agent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, oh, okay then. In Toronto, basically, they just have to be able to pay their big three. Because Matthews doesn't have that long before his contract's up. So we've got a year or two left. So you couldn't really sign Campbell to anything substantial like what he's going to want and be able to pay Matthews what he's going to want. So,
yeah, for sure.
Because you know he's going to want that David money.
I've got one more team that I've got on my winners list today. And I got to throw the Seattle Kraken in there today as a winner on free agency. I think they've had a very productive day. They got Burakovsky, which was another player that I kind of had circled as maybe the Predators could figure out a way to sign him. But a good day for the Seattle Kraken. Although they did make kind of a weird signing. They went out and got Martin Jones. So now they have 3 goaltenders. And you got to figure out if they're trying to make some trade capital out of Martin Jones because they've still got Dreger and they've still got who's that other goaltender they have? Who am I leaving out? Freaking Grubauer, Filip Grubauer.
Yep.
So they've got 3 They've got 3 possible starting goaltenders. Obviously, they're not going to keep all 3. So it's kind of an odd move. They went out and got Martin Jones, but I still think Seattle had a pretty good day. They also got their draft pick, Shane Wright, signed, who somehow fell to them at number 4 when almost pretty much everyone on this planet thought Shane Wright was going to be number 1.
Sure.
So,
Seattle.
It's been a good couple of weeks for Seattle.
Seattle got Jagger Firkus too. That's the dude I wanted, just for the name.
What a name!
All right. Another winner people would consider would be Carolina Hurricanes. I think they got
for sure
Max Pacioretty for basically nothing. Future considerations, and then they also got Brent Burns. Aging, but
I'm not sold on that. I'm not sold on Brent Burns.
Viable. They must have.
He's viable. I'm not. I just. I
don't know. They must have seen something that they liked because Carolina.
I mean, he's a good addition. I mean, obviously getting Max Pacioretty is a game changer for them. They're already huge. Loaded.
Yeah.
But they've also. I mean, they lost Trocheck too, so you got to keep that in mind. They lost some players too today, so you got to see where they come out on the losses and the gains. Yeah. But obviously getting Max Pacioretty is a pretty big development.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to wait and see how the future considerations plays for the Vegas Golden Knights next year. We all know about future considerations.
For sure.
We don't know how that's going to work out, but
Carolina got Andre Kasha too he was a Boston guy who moved to Toronto and then was a free agent or whatever. So he actually wasn't too bad, but
they had a pretty good day. The Canes definitely had a good day, and they were already a really good team anyway. So entering the day, so I mean, you guys think I'm crazy because I have them as my number 2 team, but
Yeah.
All right, losers. Let's go to the sad part of the ledger. The sad part of the ledger.
I think we know who the most sad is.
Well, I'm going to start with the team that I really enjoy bringing up here, and it's not really because they kind of did it on purpose. Like, so I don't know what you could really call it. They kind of self-destructed, but I'm totally cool with it, and that's the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, come on now. They literally decided to pull everything out of their house and put it on the front lawn and say, you can take whatever you want. You can take the refrigerator. You can take the kitchen table. You can take the recliner. You can take the couch. You can take it all. That's pretty much what the Chicago Blackhawks did today.
Yeah. We'd even listen to –
not really just today. Not even just today. Pretty much this entire offseason they've done that. So, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It was weird seeing all the moves they made. I don't know all the people that they gave up. But
Strome, Kubalik, they traded to Brinkett.
Yeah, they did.
Patrick Kane is on the trade market right now.
I'm sure he's probably not very excited for everything going on.
You know
they
what?
They did sign Colin Blackwell.
Ahead.
They got Colin Blackwell.
Yeah, I hate that for Blackwell. I hate that he has to go play there.
Yeah,
you know what? I actually think that the Blackhawks might challenge the Coyotes for last place in the division next season.
They could very well. That's true, but I think they're okay with that. I think they're all right with that.
Oh, they're totally tanking. They're totally tanking. It's obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But that was crazy.
Give us another loser, Rich. Who's another loser? I think we know who it's going to be.
Are we going to talk about the biggest loser of them all?
The
good old Calgary. Man,
I hate it for him.
Yeah,
Johnny Gaudreau is literally the worst breakup story I've ever seen. Like, I mean, it's like you're dating a 10 and you're only a 5, but you dated that 10 for like a long time. And then that 10 just dumps you out of nowhere and sends you back down to reality.
Yeah. That 10 goes to another 5 or maybe a 4.
Yeah. They went to like a 2 that doesn't have teeth. And it's probably done meth a time or two.
I was being generous, but yeah. Johnny Gaudreau obviously didn't care about the money.
So guys, he was offered, did you guys see this? Did you guys see this? Let me see if I can find the tweet. I think I saved it. Apparently, here it is. This is from Frank Saravelli. It looks like Johnny Gaudreau left somewhere between $15 to $17.5 million on the table to not go to Calgary and choosing Columbus instead.
Yeah, not even New Jersey. I think they were offering him a boatload of money too. And
what is going on behind closed doors in Calgary? That's just like a red flag. Like, I mean, maybe it's nothing Calgary did wrong. I'm not trying to start rumors. All I'm saying is that is a massive red flag to see a player bolt a team like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
And for Columbus, I mean, what is so appealing about Columbus for him to take less money? It wouldn't
have
be
you ever
that
been to Columbus, Ohio?
I have actually. I have.
It's the most boring place I've ever been to in my life.
There's not much going on there. It's just
they got a cannon. They've got a cannon.
It's just. I remember
really
wandering. I went up there and I went to the Arnold Expo because I was powerlifting at the time, and me and my buddy are wandering around downtown Columbus, and it's like everything looks the same. We're like lost as all get out, can't find where we're going. And it's like, God, this place, it sucks.
Eerie.
Yeah, it's all just concrete. There's nothing cool.
It's a very basic Midwestern town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that Nationwide Arena is a nice arena.
Yeah.
I've been to Nationwide Arena where the Columbus Blue Jackets play, and is a very, very nice arena. So I'll give him that.
Yeah,
it's just it wouldn't be that surprising if it was the other way around. If let's say that Calgary offered less and Johnny Gaudreau was going to Columbus for more money, and then he was just going for the money. Well, that would make sense because then you would say, "Oh, well, he just wanted more money. He wanted to get paid."
Yep.
But for him to take less money, that's what throws me off. And then you brought up New Jersey. Well, New Jersey's kind of the losers in this too because all the writing on the wall seemed to suggest that he was going to New Jersey
for sure, and they were offering quite a bit of money as well. Maybe he just likes a challenge. I don't know because that's
good
definitely
for him. I mean, good for him. I mean, I respect him for making the decision, and it'll be a very interesting storyline to see how that pans out next season with him there.
And
he'll definitely make it better.
Yeah, another thing that you look at it, the dude's a millionaire already. He's going to make a lot of money. Good for him. He realized, like people are saying, "Oh, you turned down all this money," but he might have a better reason for turning down the money. You never know. Or maybe he doesn't need that much money. I respect it. Maybe he's satisfied.
Yeah. I totally respect that.
It can't always be about the money. But
yeah, of course. And then go ahead, Kyle. And then I got one more loser, but go ahead, Kyle, and then I'll throw out my other loser.
I have to put Columbus in a loser as well because they're paying Eric Goodbranson $4 million a year for the next 4 years to play defense for their team. Remember whenever he came to the Preds, and what is he Swedish or I can't remember exactly where he's from, but all the people on Twitter from that country were like, "Oh my God, he's so bad." And
he's a statue. He's just a statue.
And he came from Ottawa. I remember he got traded from Ottawa. I'm pretty sure, and
he played for Calgary, didn't he?
Because he went there.
Oh, you mean from?
Oh, okay. Whenever he came to Nashville, he either came from Anaheim or Ottawa. I can't remember. It's one of the two.
I don't remember either. I got you. I was confused.
It was because it was either Holzer or him that came from either or.
That was during that string of Predators just shuffling bad defensemen after bad defensemen on the third.
Holzer came.
I mean, it was
then he came
a really
from Ottawa.
bad run.
Yeah.
And that's when Ottawa was peak bad. And even the Ottawa fans are like, "We're terrible, and he's the worst."
Yeah. Well, he didn't hang around very long.
You would be better off putting a traffic cone out there to play third pairing defenseman.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Welcome to Columbus.
Hey, he got paid. Good. Hey, he got paid. Good for him. He got paid. Good for him.
For sure.
Here's my last loser, and it's got to be the Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, what are they doing? I mean, this.
I don't know.
Seems a mess.
They are a mess. I don't know.
They've got one of their goalies in Russian Siberian military jail and everything else.
That's a mess.
That's a scary story, and that's a messed up story, man.
I know.
Oh, have you seen the video of when they snatch him from the rink?
No.
I have not seen that video. No, I haven't, but
it's wild.
Yeah. Well, there was another tweet somebody put out that Askarov was actually training
at the same rink.
At the same rink. But then someone, I guess, did some investigative reporting and found out that Askarov had already done his military service for Russia, so he's good to freely move about, I guess. So crazy, but Philly's a head scratcher. And then here's another loser that we found out about. Mike Twitter says Nashville losing Minton hurts too.
Mike Twitter. I don't know if everybody would agree with you on that, but it still makes me feel really good. I thank you so much, Mike Twitter. That's really nice of you. I think the Preds will be okay, though.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right. So so those are our winners and losers. NHL free agency madness. Catfish on Ice, episode 137. Madness. Everyone was throwing the word out frenzy, and I'm like,
Frenzy.
we're not going to use frenzy tonight. We're going to use madness. All right, let's get into some former Preds and what happened with them today. Nick Cousins, as we mentioned, goes to the Florida Panthers. 2 years, $1.1 million. So he gets a pretty cheap deal, but he gets to prolong his NHL career, and he gets to play for a cup contender. So good for him.
Yep.
I'm sure he's pleased with that landing spot.
Yep. I never had a problem with him.
David,
just knew it was going to be,
yeah, we knew it was the end.
Yeah. So
David Riddick, we knew he was gone as well. He goes to the Winnipeg Jets.
Winnipeg Jets, yeah. 1 year, 900,000, I believe, was what he got. Something like that.
Yeah, so, I remember saying that.
Yeah, something like that.
And then here's kind of the unfortunate thing for David Riddick. He's going to have to back up another workhorse goaltender. So now he's backing up Connor Hellebuck, who also, much like Saros, plays a very large load of games.
Yep. Yep. And at least he can say, David Riddick can say, you know, at first people are like, oh, look what the Avalanche did to him. But then he can just say, hey, look what the Avalanche did to everybody. So you can't hold that against me. Don't hold that against me.
Jeremy Davies goes to the Buffalo Sabres for 1 year, $750,000. Davies was thought of as definitely going into last season. Everyone thought Jeremy Davies would eventually be the third pairing for the Preds. So he ends up going to the Sabres. Matt Benning is going to San Jose, so he's going to go out there and join Luke Kunin. 4-year deal. That surprised me. That's a long deal for Matt Benning to rope in.
Good for him.
Good for him. Really like that.
I never had a problem with him either. I really liked him. So, yeah, that's cool.
We all kind of saw that he was probably the odd man out, especially when we found out that the Preds were very much invested in Jeremy Lauzon. And then, of course, when Ryan McDonough gets thrown in there, it was pretty obvious that Matt Benning was not going to return. So
for sure.
And then, of course, Matt Luff is the other one. He goes to the Detroit Red Wings. 1 year, $750,000. So a pretty basic minimum deal. Probably a prove-it deal for Matt Luff. So we'll pull for him, and hopefully he can find some quality minutes for the Detroit Red Wings. So, yeah, that's pretty much covers it there for former Preds.
And then somebody who didn't go anywhere, Filip Forsberg.
Oh, yes. Let's go ahead and touch on that. We haven't done an episode since then, guys. So
we have not.
We kind of need to talk about it. It's kind of a big deal, guys. I'll go ahead and just tell you what I think about it. I mean, obviously, I'm elated that it got done. You know, I was starting to think more and more that there's just no way that they're not going to get this done. Like, they have to.
Sure.
Like, there's no way that David Poile is going to screw this up this badly. And I think we kind of talked about it the last time we really got into it on the podcast. We kind of started leaning towards, yes, he's got to get this done. He's going to get it done. The best part about this is that it's a deal that when you look at it, it really appears that it works for both sides and it's fair for both sides. Do you guys tend to agree with that? Do you like the contract? I think it's a really fair deal for both sides.
Yeah. I think it's very fair. $8.5 million. That's kind of what everybody was saying from the get-go. What would be a fair contract?
He got his no move and his no trade, which, you know, for someone like Forsberg, you know, Poile's got to cave a little bit on that, you know, to get the deal done. And I was like you, Chad. I was kind of getting to where I was like, I think they're definitely going to get it taken care of because they were so close. You just kept hearing how close they were or whatever. And if he hadn't signed, if Filip Forsberg would have walked, Poile would have his job would have been definitely in jeopardy, I think. So,
well, I kind of threw it out there this morning before free agency opened, and I just basically said, can you imagine how much more stressful this day would be if Forsberg was hitting the open market. Like, it really hit me when I woke up this morning thinking about if he was available today, how stressful today would have been. So it took longer than we wanted it to take, but eventually they got it done. And I'm totally on board with giving David Poile credit where it's due. He eventually got it done. It's a really good deal for both sides. And now you've got a chance to build around that. That's a great thing. I mean, if you lose Forsberg, it would have been a really tough proposition to make up for him this offseason and find holes and plug holes. It would have been really difficult. So now the Predators have a chance to build on that next season. And who knows, maybe they can make even more progress than they did last season, go further in the playoffs. We'll see what happens. But you absolutely had to get the deal done. So I'm glad that nightmare is finally over with.
Oh, no, it's been going for forever.
It was a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
It was. I mean, that's how long. This goes back 7 months, guys. It was a New Year's resolution and the worst I've ever made in my life. So,
and we'd already been talking about it for like 3 months before then.
Yeah.
Well, it became It became so impossible to not to talk about it. I mean, you had to cover it every time you brought up the Predators. You had to. You just couldn't gloss over it. It was just a nagging thing that you had to talk about. So now we don't have to talk about it anymore. So it's great. Now all we have to focus on is Filip Forsberg setting more records and extending his franchise goal record. That's all we need to worry about now. Yeah. And let's get in that Stanley Cup because Filip Forsberg deserves it.
For sure. Mike Twitter said him sticking around and being in Nashville for that music festival and then George Kittle's tight end camp made me confident he was coming back. I mean, he obviously likes Nashville. And then our friend AJ said, we at least retained our guy. Could be like the Flames.
Ooh. Good point, AJ.
Good point. It does make you feel good when things work out that way.
How did it make y'all feel whenever you found out how the McDonough trade came through?
I was a little it felt a little strange. Obviously, somebody put a tweet in our chat at some point that it came down between Columbus and Nashville, and he chose Nashville. Obviously, obviously not what he wanted. I'm sure he wanted to stay with Tampa Bay. It did feel a little weird, but he seems like he's all on board. So.
Kyle, are you framing the question in terms of how did it impact how I felt about Forsberg negotiations?
No, just we were talking about retaining our guy. Like he wanted to stay with this team and everything else. And then it comes out that McDonough's agent actually called Poile and not the other way around.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they said it hit them out of left field that they were even calling. Like they hadn't even thought about looking at him until they called them.
Well, we were kind of touching on that about how it was kind of a bad look on the Preds organization for future players who might come and play here if they do end up losing Forsberg. Because when that first report came out about how it looked like the Preds were lowballing Forsberg, possibly, when we first saw that, we were speculating like this is a really bad look for the front office, but it actually comes full circle now. And when all the smoke has settled and the deal gets done, it actually looks like both sides were fully engaged throughout it. And it just goes to show you that we're not behind the scenes and we don't always know what's going on, obviously. Yep. And so it all comes out with a happy ending, which is all we really care about, Yep.
Absolutely.
But good stuff there. So Forsberg, let's keep that Forsberg, Granlund, Duchesne line intact, fully engaged. That's the best part about it.
Love it.
Because I was totally worried about what was going to happen with Matt Duchesne if Forsberg was no longer on this team. So I feel good about that now.
Yep. Good.
All right, guys. It's time for the fun part of the episode. We're going to close out episode 130. It's all been fun here tonight, but now it really gets fun because we get to compare Preds players to our favorite superheroes. I know there's comic book fans out there. I know that there are superhero fans. They watch all the superhero movies and all that good stuff. So now we're going to compare current Preds players to their superhero equivalent. Kyle Perkins, get us started. I know you already we already brainstormed this topic, and Kyle has a lot of good ones.
He does.
Get us rolling, man.
All right, so my first one, and I think this is one of the more apt fits on the whole team. That would be Ryan Johansson in Deadpool.
That's a good one.
Nice. He is irreverent, funny at times he probably shouldn't be, and likes to practical joke people. And he's the comic relief. Generally, he's kicking exercise balls at people during their interviews, just random stuff like that. Yep. And I think he's kind of like Deadpool.
That's a good one.
So,
I like
Rich, what do you think?
No, that's a good one. That's great. I came up with a good one for Mark Borviesky. You know, you see this dude. He's kind of unassuming looking fella. I think he is like the Wolverine for sure. He's unassuming until you cross paths with him and tick him off, and then he's just gonna go nuts on you, man. He's a crazy person. Don't want to when he's fighting. We've seen him out there throwing the lefts and rights at the same time on skates, which that's I'm sure very hard to do. So he just goes into a frenzy and doesn't win them all, but puts up a good fight.
I like it.
Yep.
All right. I've got two really easy ones here. I've got Forsberg as Batman because he does a little bit of everything, just like Batman has the utility belt. He can do a little bit of everything. I think people forget sometimes that Filip Forsberg plays a physical game. He is very much a power forward. He is not just a scorer.
For sure.
I got to go ahead and throw Forsberg out there as my Batman, and then his Robin has to be Matt Duchene.
Oh, there you go.
They're sidekicks. I mean, they're totally sidekicks there. And I just feel like one cannot properly fight crime without the other. So you got to have them together. No slight at Matt Duchene for making him Robin and making Forsberg Batman, but that's just how I'm rolling with it. Forsberg is Batman and Duchene is Robin. That's what I'm rolling with there.
That's good. That's a good one. What else you got?
So I just had one hit me, and I would have to go with.
You had a good one. You better not leave. If you don't mention the one you brought up the other day, then I'm going to mention it for you. But go ahead, and then I'll see if you say it.
No, this one I just thought of just now. And our fantasy league chat will enjoy this because of our conversations about this player. Matthias Ekholm is Thor.
Oh,
yeah.
that is
because if
good.
You look, because
perfect.
For one thing, Matthias is Swedish, so it works.
That's a
another thing, we're always talking about Matthias yeeting things. If you've ever watched a Thor movie, he is always throwing his hammer, whatever. So he's the king of Yeatenheim.
There you go. That's a good one.
So go ahead, Chad. Steal whichever one you want to.
I'm not stealing it from you. I'm going to give you credit. My favorite one, and it's probably because it's one of my favorite superhero / in that genre, it's got to be Tanner Jeannot as the Punisher.
That's a good one.
I know Punisher's, I guess he's not the prototypical superhero because he does kind of do some bad stuff, but
anti-hero.
He does fight crime though. He does take out the bad guys.
He doesn't just fight crime.
Does that.
He kills crime.
He deletes
it. Tanner Jeannot is, if you're going to give him a nickname for a superhero, it has to be the Punisher because that's literally he does the opposing team. So that was actually my favorite one that we came up with, and Kyle gets full credit for that one because he was the one that came up with it. So Tanner Jeannot as the Punisher. And also, I'm still very upset that they canceled that series It only went two. It went two seasons, and it had no closure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, if you watch the last season of Daredevil, there's a lot of Punisher in Daredevil, and then when he got his show, it only went to 2 seasons, but those 2 seasons were so good. I mean, they were just
John Bernthal is like one of my favorite. John Bernthal is one of my favorite actors. He was in The Walking Dead in the early seasons of Walking Dead when it was actually a really good show. And he's been in some other stuff, but he was awesome in The Punisher. And it's just like, I'm so mad that they canceled that.
That was So I think what happened, when Disney bought Marvel or whatever, all those shows were Netflix shows. Yeah. And then I know there's some rough, not real bad shows on the Disney Plus channel, but I just don't think you can put The Punisher on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, it was a pretty violent show. It was a pretty violent show.
He's not Disney Plus.
It's not something.
He's not. No.
It's not something. Yeah, it's not something watching for sure.
Yeah.
All right. What about we got to do Philip Tomasino. We got to find an equivalent for Spider-Man. Can't leave it. We can't do a superhero topic and not bring up Spider-Man. And I think Kyle also came up with this one too. So. And I think our argument behind this one was, Tomasino is fast. He's got speed. He moves all over the ice.
Clean cut.
He's not not a big dude.
Just like Peter Parker.
Just like Peter Parker. Absolutely. Yeah. So where does that? What about Roman Yossi?
I think there's only one for Yossi.
Is there only one for him?
Okay, so I said Captain America, but then Kyle Perkins gave me crap about it because he's not American. And I'm like, but he's still the captain.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Roman Yossi is Superman.
He has definitely got to be Superman.
He's Superman. That's fair.
For sure. Who else? Who are we leaving out?
So who's going to be Captain America? Do we have an American
Ryan McDonough?
Ryan McDonough is Captain America. There you go.
Because he's the only American on the team now because Luke Kunin is gone.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, that's a good one, though. I can roll with that. Captain America, Ryan McDonough, he's a former captain. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Perfect. Who's the Green Lantern? One of the most unpopular superheroes of all time.
Yeah.
Mikhail Grenland. Because nobody thinks about him.
We're coming up with it on the fly here, everybody. We're coming up with it on the fly.
What about Saros? Who would he be?
Professor Xavier.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Because you see, whenever he's in the crease, you don't see him like going everywhere. So Xavier's in the chair. But he can move all these things with his mind and everything.
Using his mind.
Yeah.
Mind power.
I've got one. This one, I'm kind of reaching for this one, but I'm gonna go for it since we're just doing ones off the cuff here. How about Jeremy Lazan as Hulk? Because the Hulk has these tempers, has a bad temper. He likes to really get mad and get angry, and Jeremy Lazan's going to get in his fair share of brawls next season. So we're going to go Jeremy Lazan as the Hulk.
There you go. Right. Mike Twitter asked, who would Terry Crisp be? And our friend Alec, who's on Twitter, said he's post-in-game Captain America. Captain
absolutely.
There you go. Yep. That's a good one.
Good stuff, Alec. Good stuff, people. Awesome. Sure. Share the rest of your superhero Preds players at Catfish Ice on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. We're all on there. All right, guys. It's been a really fun episode here, guys. I mean, I'm going to try to make it safely into Tampa Bay. I'm definitely going to wear my Preds gear in to the Tampa Bay area and make my presence known.
Cause trouble right from the get-go. There you go. All right.
I wasn't I wasn't able to get a Ryan McDonough Preds jersey to really troll them when I walked in like I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would have been going a little too far. I don't know.
Yeah. Chad's got on his Predators jersey. He's like, "Hello, new community. Welcome me with open arms." And they're like, "Get out of here. What's the matter with you?"
You know what's funny about people in that area? They really care about the Preds. Like they're kind of irrelevant. At least the last time I was down there, and I was wearing Preds gear last time I was down there, and I didn't get any no one was really talking crap to me. No one really cared. They don't really see because I mean it's a Western Conference team, so they really don't. It's not like it's a rivalry or anything. But,
and they're not a threat. So
unfortunately, but we're coming. We're coming for you.
Yes.
All right, real quick before we let you go, we're also going to go to Max Greenberg. I have a pre-recorded segment with Max Greenberg, who writes for Predlines. He joined me. We're going to throw that at the end of the episode, and we got into a lot of this free agency talk. He had a lot of really good takes on what happened today, so you want to hear about that. He covers the Preds for Predlines. He also writes for Titan Size, covering the Tennessee Titans. So you want to do that? All right, going to go to Kyle and Rich real quick before we get out of here. Both of you, right now, tell me right now quickly, do the Preds make another move before in free agency? And if so, who do they get? Give me one player. Kyle first.
Trade either Patrick Laine or Jonathan Marchessault.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. I love rapid fire best response.
I don't know if I can come up with a player that they will get, but I think they'll get somebody, but it won't be a huge name, and everybody's going to get mad about it, I'm sure. So, but
you can always just predict that you can always predict that they don't do anything, which is also possible.
Yeah, that's true. They could, but
it wouldn't be completely shocking to me if they just stand pat with what they've done and they're totally pleased with what they've done. We'll see. I mean, because there's never guarantees you could pull off a trade. I mean, there's a lot of moving factors and moving parts to pull off a trade. So just because they want to do it, it's going to happen. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. We definitely think the Preds could have another move up their sleeve. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This has been episode 137, NHL Free Agency Madness with Chad Minton, Rich Howe, and Kyle Perkins, presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned for our interview with Max Greenberg to close out this episode. Hit us up on Twitter and YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Catfish Ice. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
See you.